is my Kyosho Turbo Raider from the late 80s, running on 2S lipo. It's certainly a little quicker than it once was, although the 15-turn motor certainly could use some maintenance. The car is a lot of fun. It brings back a lot of memories from when I was a kid. I am having a problem with steering. The turnbuckle keeps popping off, so I'll have to fix that right now. But it's still running on the original Futaba speed controller, which is rated a little less than a 15-turn motor. However, it doesn't seem to get too hot. He's pretty happy to run on this 15-turn motor. It has an open differential, so brake traction and takes some of the fun away from it when the back end doesn't swing around like you might like it to, and it would on a more expensive car from the time, but still, it's kind of the charm of it, I guess. The handling it's fair. The front suspension is a kind of a strange setup in that I just lost the turnbuckle. When you compress the front shocks down, you get severe toe out, and then when it comes back up beyond the normal resting spot, you have some pretty bad toe in. So it makes it very difficult to adjust the suspension perfectly. But if you get it just right, it does okay. But you can see here, maybe you can't because the turnbuckle just popped off again. Gonna have to replace that, but it's such a small size, I've had a difficult time sourcing one. But if I hold the camera like this, you can see how that works, and there's no easy way, there's no way at all with the original suspension to completely correct that. But so here it is. I do have a low voltage alarm in here, which works quite well. You can see here, it's at a little over 8 volts right now. But the steering setup on this car is probably its major weakness. It's mid-motor, which is kind of unique. Not sure it's really that big of an advantage, if at all. I'm running really skinny tires on the back. One, I was hoping to reduce the understeer. The car understeers like a pig. And the set of tires I bought, the wider ones I have on my Ultima. So there it is. I've sold some of the vintage parts off it, like the original wheels. They're getting the tires are getting pretty wore down anyway. And the rear rims I cracked back when I was a kid. So there's a quick overview of this car. I'm debating going brushless, maybe a 380 size than a 540 can. I know some of the cheaper Ghoul RC and the likes, they don't have quite as much torque because they're really a 380 sized motor, and maybe a high KV because you can only put a 14 or a 15 tooth pinion gear in this car, so that really limits its top speed, and it could certainly use another 10 miles an hour. So I would guess it's probably in the low 20s right now, and it'll be a lot more fun if I could get it up, above 30. It would still be controllable, I think, but a lot more fun. It also has the Kyosho Gold shocks. That was standard on the turbo version of the Raider, and it's a little beat up. It's kind of a shame. You can get new bodies, they're not cheap, but when I was a kid it flipped a lot, and I had a lot of fun with it. So I guess I can't complain too much, but it was really nice to get it set up. And running on lipo is so much nicer. You get probably 3 times the run time with not nearly the voltage drop that I did back on the original batteries that were in the car. So sorry for the camera work here. I'll try to do a little bit more of a run here if I can get the cell phone set up and get a few more minutes. This particular battery, it's rated at 4,600 milliamp hours, but it's an inexpensive one, and the capacity is actually a little less than what it's rated at. My 4,200 milliamp hour battery, my Ternigi one, actually has about a third more capacity than this. But for just cruising around in the parking lot here, this battery is, you know, it's sufficient, it's fun. It was about $25. Oh, one thing I did fail to mention is when running a lipo in here, the shorty ones fit great, with one small modification, and I'll show you that here in just a second. With the mid motor, the bounce of the car is uneven if you use a shorty lipo. So it's hard to see, but at the bottom of the car here, there's a screw hole. You can't see it from here, but it's right here on the other side. You can see it better, but I'm not going to take the pins back out. But at any rate, if you center the lipo such that it's even on the right side, it works pretty well. And then the car's bounced. Otherwise, it really leans to the side of the motor like this. But I have it pretty evenly bounced with it set up like that. And the huge advantage is it's so much lighter than the original nickel cadmium battery. It's probably only a third the weight, certainly less than half. And that pays dividends in the overall performance. Car accelerates better. It's just easier on the transmission. Suspension's a little happier. It's really nice. So don't be afraid to run lipo on your, I never know if it's lipo or lipo, whatever. Sorry, I'm probably really annoying pronouncing it wrong. But you know what I'm talking about. So don't hesitate on these vintage cars to upgrade them. At least in my experience, I have a big brute, a Turbo Ultima Pro, which I just converted to brushless, and this car here, and they all ran fine with the vintage electronic key controllers. So I'll just go ahead and shut up here for a minute, drive around this parking lot. I can't do too much with the car until I fix it here. You can see, well, I just lost the suspension again, but it understeers quite heavily. However, if you lay off the throttle and turn in, it doesn't understeer nearly as badly. I find both my buggies, even my son's track buggies,